Single father receives a mysterious call at 2 a.m., he went there anyway, and the heiress asked him to. It was 2:07 a.m. when Daniel's phone rang, its shrill buzz slicing through the quiet of his modest apartment. His heart pounded, calls at this hour were rarely good news. He rubbed his eyes, careful not to wake his 7-year-old daughter, Emma, sleeping soundly beside him. Life had been heavy since his wife passed 2 winters ago. Since then, Daniel had worked 2 jobs, balancing bills and bedtime stories with equal exhaustion. When he saw the unknown number glowing on his cracked screen, something told him to answer. The voice on the other end was calm but urgent. A woman, barely older than 30, said only this, "Mr. Hayes, I need you to come to 118 Glenhaven Road. Please. I know it's late, but it's important. You helped my mother once. I never forgot." He didn't recognize her name. But there was a sincerity in her voice, a trembling truth he couldn't ignore. Against logic, against fatigue, he kissed Emma's forehead, wrapped himself in a worn jacket, and drove through the sleeping streets. Glenhaven Road was nothing like his part of town. Wrought iron gates, towering oaks, and a mansion that glowed softly against the night sky. A butler let him in without a word, as though they'd been expecting him for years. In the grand hall stood a woman in a simple robe, barefoot, her eyes red from crying. "I'm Lila Carroway," she said, voice trembling. "My mother was Abigail Carroway." Daniel's breath caught. Abigail. The kind woman from the diner a decade ago. He had worked there back then, bussing tables during a rough patch, and one rainy night she had arrived soaked and shaken. He'd offered her tea, a dry coat, and a seat by the kitchen heater. They had talked, about kindness, about grief, about second chances. He never saw her again. "She told me how your words saved her," Lila whispered. "Said you reminded her there was goodness in the world when she'd lost all hope. She passed away last week. And in her will, she asked me to find you." Lila handed him a letter, written in delicate handwriting. "To the man who made me believe again, please accept this final act of gratitude. Help others as you helped me." Attached was a check, more zeros than Daniel had ever seen. He staggered back. "I don't understand." "She wanted you to build something. A center. For single parents. For people like you. She believed you'd know what the world needed most." Tears welled in Daniel's eyes, not from the money, but from the validation that even a quiet act of kindness could ripple across lives. A year later, the Carroway Hayes Center opened downtown, a haven for parents and children starting over. And every time Daniel watched a tired mother pick up a warm meal or a father tuck his child into a donated bed, he remembered that rainy night, that cup of tea, and the heiress who believed in paying love forward. Because sometimes, the smallest light in the darkest hour can change everything, and all it takes is saying yes when the world calls on you, even at 2 a.m.